Welcome to the High School Head Coaches in Jacksonville series. You're watching the Where Zone podcast hosted by me, Chandler Danzer. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and watch on YouTube. Today we have Bartram High School Head Coach Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're pumped to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you doing? I appreciate you having me.
Doing good. Before we start kind of digging into your career, Bartram, and more, I like to ask this question here. Who is Ryan Fitzpatrick and how would you introduce yourself?
Oh, who is Ryan Fitzpatrick? Man, that's a tough question. I guess I'm just a baseball junkie ever since I was little. Started playing at 4 years old and fell in love with the game. I knew I wanted to coach at an early age. When I got done playing with college baseball, I jumped right into it, and here I am, man. I've been blessed with a lot of great opportunities. Got to be around a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players. So I'm truly blessed. Truly grateful for the opportunity, that I've been given.
That's awesome. All right, can you kind of walk us through your baseball career all the way up from Bartram High School to Wingate University?
Yeah. So I graduated from Bartram 2008. I actually started high school. Uh, I played for Bishop Snyder my freshman and sophomore year was with Coach Osbeck over there.
Hmm.
Transferred to Bartram my junior and senior year, played for Tony Sowers for 2 years. And then went to pitch at Seminole State College. Chris Hayes was my head coach, who's now the head coach at JU. Played there for 2 years and then played 2 more years at Wingate University, up in Wingate, North Carolina, which is right outside of Charlotte, Division II up there. So that's my playing career, coaching career. Like I said, I got right into it right when I was done playing. Jeremiah Klosterman hired me when I was 23 years old. His first year as
Hmm.
head coach of Fleming Island. So I was there for a year, and then actually got the opportunity to go back to Seminole to be the pitching coach for a year. So did that. Got to coach a lot of talented kids there, and then was blessed with the opportunity to come back home and be the volunteer assistant at UNF 2014, 2015 under Smoke Laval. So I learned a lot there. And then actually when I got done there, went to FSCJ for a little bit, um, and then took a year or two off, and then got back into it. Coached a year at Creekside with Coach King, and then when the Bartram job opened, I applied for it and been there ever since. Going on year 6 this year. So
That's awesome. Like you said,
yeah.
right after college, you started coaching. You started your coaching career at Fleming Island High School. Can you kind of talk about your first year there and your role to the team?
Oh man, I was when you get into coaching, it's a lot different on the other side. I think you the game kind of slows down for it and you see it from the other side. And stuff bothers you a lot more. But I was a young, ambitious head coach or pitching coach. I got to run the pitchers over there for Klosterman. Got to be around him, got to be around Coach Don Suriano, who was awesome as well. He's a walking dictionary for baseball. The guy's forgot more baseball than me and you
Yeah,
probably know together. So it was a great spot, man. It was a perfect fit. Just being able to learn under those two for a year, to get to coach the guys I did over there, it was a lot of fun.
that's awesome. All right, tell us about that season at Seminole State College and the pitching staff you had there.
Oh man, we had so I think we actually had a third round pick that year. His name was Jake Cozart. He was actually an outfielder. He was an outfielder at Duke his freshman year, and then ended up transferring to Seminole State. Um, and was like 96 to 99 off the bump.
Jeez.
So I think the Red Sox picked him in the third round. We had a couple other guys, a couple guys go to UNF. Austin Hayes was on that team. He was an outfielder for us. He went on to play at 2 years at JU, and he was an All-Star last year for
Yeah,
the Orioles. So it was a pretty fun group, man. That was a great experience for me just to get my feet wet in the college level, especially at the junior college level as well. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
for sure. Coaching at the University of North Florida. Tell us about that and what it was coaching like at a Division I level.
Oh man, that was awesome too. Another guy, Smoke Laval, man, he taught me a lot. That guy, he's kind of like in that Coach Suriano category, man. They've been around the
Hmm.
game for so long they forget more than we even know. Um, but that was truly a blessing, and we were really good that year. I think we won 40 games, and won the A-Sun regular season that year. Had some good guys on that team. Donnie DeWeese was an outfielder for us. think he was a third or fourth round pick with the Cubs. Um, uh, Baker, he was a right-handed pitcher for us. He's actually in AAA with the Orioles now as well. So that was really cool, man. And like I said, I just got to be around Smoke. The guy, won national championships at LSU. So he was a great guy to kind of learn under as well.
For sure. All right, going from FSCJ to Creekside High School, what was kind of the biggest challenge coaching college to the high school baseball?
No, I think I've been blessed, with the guys I've had at the high school level. They've kind of been, um, out of the upper echelon of high school baseball players. When I was at Creekside, you had, Daniel Cantu and Holtz and Frisbee,
Hmm.
and Frida and guys like that, guys that were really, really passionate about learning. So there wasn't a big difference to me. It was just, trying to get those kids. I've always thought, getting the high school kids ready for that next level.
Yeah,
The commitment and grind it takes. I think that's just the big difference. It goes from high school, it goes from, kind of a part-time job to, you get to college and it's a full-time job.
full
So,
time. Yeah,
I think that's the big thing, just teaching these guys, hey, if you think I'm hard on you or you think this coach is hard on you, you think this is a grind, just wait till you get to the next level. So,
for sure.
um, yeah.
All right, in 2018, just like you said, you got the head coaching job at Bartram High School. What was kind of your mindset coming into Bartram with a brand new team?
Um, it was tough. I'll be honest. A lot of people were like, "Man, that was." I think a lot of people wanted the job, but it was a tough. We had to change the entire culture there. We put a real emphasis on winning, which I don't think it was before I got there.
Hmm.
I always talk about my first year, man. We had some seniors that were really, really good, and I had to beg them to come and play. Like they kind of fell out of love with the game a little bit, so. That was the first thing we did. Kind of change the culture, the expectations. We expected to win baseball games. So we did that, and then just kind of upgrading the facilities.
Yeah,
I played there. I graduated in 2008, and the field looked exactly the same in 2008 as it did in 2018. So, that was the next step, and we've done a good job so far. Kind of making that field, one of the better ones in town. So, between the culture and just kind of making baseball important at Bartram. I think we did a good job of that at the beginning. I've been really lucky to have a lot of great assistant coaches and great players come through there that have helped me, kind of build the culture that we've created here.
yeah. All right, what was kind of like being the head coach at the same high school you played at? What did that mean to you?
I met a lot. I tell this story all the time. Tony Stowers, who was actually the first head coach at Bartram, he was there for since it opened to like 2015. So he was there for, 15, 16, 17 years. Um, I actually interned for him my senior year, first and seventh period. I'm not sure how I pulled that off, but one of my last days at school my senior year, I was telling Tony bye, and I basically told him, I said, hey, I said, I'm going to come back and take your job one day. Um, that was always been my goal. My goal has always been to be the head coach at Bartram Trail High School. So, there was a guy in between me and Tony, but like I said, I'm blessed and lucky to be, have this opportunity. So it's really neat to come back and coach and build the program that you were part of, 15 years ago. So it's been awesome.
For sure. All right, the season's off to a good start with a record of 9-7. Talk a little about this year's season. What's different from this year's team than last year's team?
Oh man, huge difference. So, this is kind of the first year, like I said, I'm in year six. This might be the first year since year one that we've kind of came into the season with, not a lot of expectations, I guess, not a lot of outside noise. We had that team 2 years ago. I think we had like 18, 19 guys committed to go play college baseball. We had a huge target on our
Jeez.
back. Yeah, so it's been a breath of fresh air, to be honest. We just get to work and get after it. Last year was kind of a bummer. We second game of the year we lose Brody DeLamiere, who was kind of our heart and soul. Center fielder, he tears his labrum on a freak play at
Yeah.
Columbia. So we lose him like game two, and then we end up losing our number two arm, Logan Hartman, Dom Cantona, who was catching for us, Luke Labby, who was starting at second. We lost them the week after up in Lowndes. So literally we lose four guys in the first 2 weeks of the season. And it just kind of snowballed from there. We were playing
Mm-hmm.
guys that, you know, I say this, I knew they couldn't get the job done and they couldn't get the job. They knew they couldn't get the job done. So, I don't really care who you are, but you lose four guys like that in the first week or
It was
two,
tough.
yeah, it's going to be tough. And then we just kept losing guys. I think in total, at one point, 8 of our 9 original starters were out of the lineup. So
Jeez.
it was tough, man. And, the crazy thing is, I think last year we started 4-0, and just kind of fell. We just couldn't kind of stop it. But like I said, man, we were just putting guys out there that we're just overmatched from the get go, and we knew
Mm-hmm.
it. So, but I probably should have done a better job of kind of righting the ship there. But it is what it is. We learned from it. So, that was unfortunate. But this year, it's been good, man. I like the group. People ask me all the time how the team is, and I like them. They get after it.
Yeah,
There's no egos. We got good team chemistry. They all like each other. Are we the most talented team like we've kind of been in the past couple of years? No. But they compete their butts off, and that's all I ask.
for sure. All right, before the season started, what was kind of your main goals for this team?
Well, the first thing right off the bat we talked about was just having a better team chemistry. Last year and even 2 years ago, we had that group that was really, really good with Pokel and Panky and Nadu and Lodis, and I can go on and on. It was very clicky. You had like 4 or 5 guys that kind of hung out, and it just wasn't a group.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the main goal, just to kind of get that team chemistry. And to be honest, I'll be honest, it was create a chip on their shoulder. A lot of people, we lost. I think we had 4 kids transfer out from last year's team that are no longer with us. A lot of people wrote those guys off. The guys that we have now. So just creating that chip on our shoulder. Just to all the naysayers, people saying we're not going to be as good. So yeah, I think those are the two big things for us. It's just the team chemistry. Working together as one, and then kind of creating that chip on our shoulder. That us against the world mentality.
Definitely, definitely. All right, what has kind of been your favorite memory these past few years at Bartram?
Ooh, the favorite memory, man. They got a lot. Favorite memory, probably honestly, probably year one. We went over to Creekside my first year and we beat them in the district championship game. So that was pretty special. Bartram hadn't won a district championship in a long time.
Yeah,
And especially to go over there, go to their place against a team, we all know each other. They grew up playing together. I coached there the year before. So that was a pretty special moment, but there's been a lot of them, man. Even the losses like 2 years ago when we lost to Haggerty in the regional final at home. That was a great atmosphere. Even that year, my first year, we ended up, I think, in round 2 of the playoffs. We hosted Creekside like 2 weeks later, and they beat us, but the place was
jeez,
packed. Yeah, the place was packed. It was a great atmosphere. So there's been a lot of good memories and a lot of good kids and coaches that have come through this program the last 6 years.
that's awesome. All right, what do you think the biggest challenge of coaching high school baseball is?
Ooh, God, I got a laundry list of that, man. No, I think, in the world we live in today where travel ball is growing, I think parents are more involved with their kids. It's just kind of, I think it's just getting those kids to buy into what you're preaching, and have them buying into the goals. Like I've said for a long time, usually the last team standing is the team that, wants it the most and not looking forward to,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm going to go play for this team in the summer and I can't wait to do this, can't wait to do that. If you get a group of 20 guys that buy into what you're saying and they're all pulling in, the rope in the same direction, then, you're going to make a run at this thing. So I think that's probably the hardest thing I've noticed over my 6 years is just getting those guys to buy in, to what we're doing and to stay focused. And the next thing is, a place like Bartram or a place like, name whatever, a very talented school. It's playing time. You got a lot of kids that, would play at a lot of other schools in the area and,
Mm-hmm.
they're sitting on your bench.
Yep.
I use the example, I keep going back to it, but 2 years ago, you had all those guys committed and half of them were on the bench in the game. So that's probably the second hardest part of the whole thing. Just making sure guys are happy.
For sure, for sure. All right, Jacksonville is so lucky to have so many great coaches. What do you think makes a great high school baseball coach?
Oh man, what makes a great high school baseball coach? I think it's just relating to the kids, you know. Um, I think you try to be a coach and you try to help kids, get to the next level. I think that's one, but just relating with them, man, just being someone that they can go to. Because you know how it is. I knew how it was in high school. It's hard sometimes to go to your mom or your dad when you got something
Yeah,
going on in life.
for sure.
Like I tell our guys at Bartram now, man, my door is always open. I think that's what makes a good coach. If a kid can come up to you and have a conversation, outside of baseball, not about baseball, or I mean, it could even be about baseball. Just
Yeah.
it is they're okay coming up and talking to you, and you make a positive impact on their life. Because at the end of the day, we're just a small piece of the puzzle, for you
Hmm.
guys, in this game of life. So I think you just make a positive impact on these young men's life. I think that's what separates the good ones from the great ones, I think.
Definitely. All right, as a coach, you have to coach several types of players. The D1 commits, the kids still waiting on an offer, or kids maybe just wanting to play high school. How do you kind of manage coaching the different levels of athletes?
Um, it's like I said earlier, you kind of got to get them all to buy into one thing. Um, you know, we won't sugarcoat it. There's a lot of kids that, you know, for some kids, the D1 athletes, this is their full-time job. And then like you said, you got some kids that this is just kind of, they're kind of half in, half out. And then
Having
some
fun.
kids, yeah, this is just a hobby for them. So, sometimes that clashes. This guy can get upset because, this guy's taking it too serious or this guy's not taking it too serious. So it's just, you got to get them to buy in, man, from day one. You set the expectation, you set the standard, and, we're pretty upfront with our guys. And if you don't buy into it, if you don't, want to be a part of it, then, we'll get rid of it. So,
For sure.
I think if everyone is meeting the expectation that's set forth by the head coach, then that's when you have a good group of guys. So I think that's how you kind of mix them all together and intertwine them all.
Definitely. All right, I've learned so much from my coaches, some things I'll carry into my everyday life. How important is it to you as a coach to coach your kids on and off the field?
Oh, it's very important. Like we talk about, you represent that the kids represent our program, not only on the field, but in the classroom, in the community. When you're wearing that Bear logo or that BT logo, you represent, myself, represent that school, and you represent this program. So,
Hmm.
you just teach them to do the right things on and off the field, just to be, high character human beings and, represent this program how you want people to look at it.
Definitely. All right, from a coach's perspective, how important is it to you being able to see a player accept failure?
Oh, it's part of the game, man. Sometimes guys go up there and they expect to be perfect, every time, and that's just not how it is. If you can't accept failure in the game of baseball, then it's going to grind on you, and you're eventually just going to give it
Definitely.
up. So you got to be able to accept it. Like I said, if it was easy, everybody would play, and there wouldn't be soccer wouldn't be as popular as it is now. Because you grow up and the first
Hmm.
sport you play is usually baseball. So if it was easy, man, everybody would do it. The guys that kind of separate themselves and go to the next level and go to the pro ball, college ball, whatever. They accept their failure and they learn from it and they grow from it. And get better from failure.
For sure. All right, what are some things you learned as a player that helped you become a better coach?
Ooh, goodness. Now you're asking some tough ones today, man. Um, I don't know. Me as a player, I was kind of the quiet, lead by example kind of guy. When I talked, people listened. Um, but for me, I guess as a coach now, looking back on my playing career, I tell our kids, hey, don't be me. Like I don't want kids to be who I was. Like I was the guy. I had all the talent in the world, but I didn't really push myself to, what I could have been. So
Hmm.
I think that's what I try to teach our guys. Don't take this game for granted because one day it's going to be over. And I haven't played a competitive game in 15 years, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't wake up and go, man, what if I'd have done this? What if I'd have done that? and really push
Yep,
myself. So, like I tell the kids, don't ever live in regret. Do this thing to the best of your ability. We got a saying: play every game like it's your first, play every game like it's your last, because you really don't know. You don't know when it's going to be your last. You don't know when this game's going to
for
be
sure.
taken away from you. So I think that's probably the biggest thing looking back, from my playing career and what I learned and what I try to teach these kids, and just don't take it for granted. Do everything you can to play as long as as long as you possibly can.
For sure. All right, we got a few questions left here. What do you kind of do in your free time outside of sports, outside of baseball?
Oh man, we'll tell you what, I got 5 kids, so there ain't a lot of free time for me.
Hmm.
Usually, if I'm not coaching at Bartram, I'm coaching my son's 5U T-ball team, or I'm coaching my son's 8U travel team. So I'm usually, if you want to find me, I'm usually on a baseball field somewhere
Hmm.
around Jacksonville, and wouldn't have it any other way. I've been blessed, like I said, with 5 kids and a beautiful wife, and so far, my 2 oldest boys, they've really fallen in love with the game of baseball.
That's awesome.
So it's very I can see it on the parent side now, where I used to not be able to do it, but I'm really lucky. They love the game, and I love to help them as much as I can. So yeah, that's pretty much my free time, is chasing kids around or on a baseball field.
That's awesome. All right, what advice do you kind of give younger kids wanting to play at the high school level? Those younger kids are out there watching these games right now, wanting to play. What advice do you give to them?
Just keep working hard. There's no substitute for hard work, as they say. You gotta just you know you gotta set your mind, say, hey, I want to go be the shortstop at Bartram Trail. I want to go be the starting center fielder at wherever, Creekside or Bowles, or whatever school it is, man, and don't stop until you get there. When you get there, continue to go, continue to get better. So it's just I think the younger kids, a lot of them don't really know what it takes yet to get to that level.
Hmm.
So you kind of just, you got to give them, a little kick in the butt and say, hey, this is what it's going to take. And if you want to do it, it's very possible. I've seen a lot of kids, turn their careers around when they turn 12, 13, 14 years old. They realize, hey,
Yep,
I can't get away with what I was doing when I was 9, 10, 11. I got to work hard. So, that's kind of the message. Just work hard.
for sure. All right, Ryan, thank you for coming on the podcast and good luck with the rest of your season.
Appreciate it, Chandler. Hey, keep up the good work too.
Appreciate it.